All right. Well, I'm going to be sharing how I manage to get in touch with my students, especially those that are online using Connects Ed. So as we can see, we want to meet students where they are. So I apologize because my presentation is 2 monitors over, so I have to turn my head a bit in order to be able to give the presentation. But let's go ahead and look at this. My name is Christy Linch. I am an instructor of accounting at Delgado Community College, and I have quite a few years both in Zoom and teaching college accounting, but that's a subject that's really difficult to do unless you're able to get in touch with your students and have a lot of face-to-face meetings. So let's talk about how I was able to do that using Connects Ed. So how can a student find their instructor? Well, of course, we want to use our learning management system. For us at Delgado Community College, it is Canvas. So that's where I've started putting the information so students could find me. Additionally, when can the student meet with the instructor? I'll talk a little bit about the Connects Ed functionality and scheduling and how students can get in touch with us. And then also the Connects lobby ease of use. I like it a lot. I'm a lot more happy with it than with Zoom. There's so much going on. Connects Ed is very simple, very easy to use. So with no further ado, I'll start my presentation. So how can a student find their instructor, right? Very basic information. So preliminary contact with Connects Ed is available through the course learning management system. As I stated earlier, it's Canvas for us here at Delgado Community College. So there is a button in our settings that we can use so that it's on the left side navigation where we can put Connects Ed as a navigation point for students. However, what I found is that sent you to Connects Ed generally, and then students had a difficult time finding us specifically. So I don't use that in our learning management system. I don't have that button going. I don't have it live for my students. So I use a separate module. So in Canvas, you can set up individual modules. And so I have one module named How to Find Your Professor, How to Access Your Professor. So there's a lot more information before that. So generally students are more interested in that. But underneath that, and I have it in my syllabus as well as my introductory email, where to find access and how to find me in Connects Ed. So in that module, I provide specific instructions on how to access Connects Ed, which has been the greatest challenge, how to send a student directly to me instead of them wandering around perhaps in the business lobby, or, how do I find an instructor, or how do I find my professor? So it sends the link that I'm using sends a student directly to me, and they can make an appointment. And so in that module, as I stated earlier, they find a specific link to me. So what does that look like? So I have a step-by-step Word document that I created because a student has nothing else but the information that we're giving them. So I give them a Word document that says, look for this, when you see that, didn't do this. And so it gives them a page-by-page description. And I set it up as though I was scheduling a session with myself so that I could look at the different interfaces that a student would be looking at. So the Word document, or you can use a PowerPoint slide, doesn't have to be glamorous. It just has to be something that a student can use. A lot of my students work during the day, and so they're harried, they're put their kids to bed, or they just had supper, and they've got a couple of minutes either in the end of the evening or on a Saturday, and they want to go through things quickly and find things efficiently. So you don't need to make it glamorous. You just have to make it simple and explanatory. So it should provide a steps along the way without unnecessary stress that don't enhance trust or learning, because when you put too many roadblocks in people's way, they feel like you don't understand where they're coming from, and therefore you're not looking out for them. So what you want to do, I find, is that by making things easy and simple, students will release their stress, right? They'll feel more comfortable, and also they trust you to guide you through the rest of what we're doing, which is learning, right? So this is the simple part of just how to find me. So my Word document is entitled How to Schedule a Connects Ed Meeting with Your Professor. So I make certain that I always use the term Connects Ed and not an online meeting so that students know that that's what they're looking for, because a lot of students are accustomed to using Zoom, but we're not using Zoom here at Delgado. So we're using Connects Ed for our interface one-on-one with our students. So when students contact me either for in-person office hour or virtual office hours, I use the links from Canvas to guide them to these locations. And I always encourage students to set up an appointment, because if someone shows up in person for office hours, usually it's the same time everybody else is showing up at even for virtually or otherwise coming to see me. And so it's usually after a test. And so instead of asking a student to wait in the lobby, I encourage them to make an appointment in case I'm already virtually meeting with another student. So I find that to be very helpful. So at the beginning of the document, I show the link in our learning management system Canvas here to schedule an appointment. Let me see if I can, oops, let me go back. Sorry. Oops. So I put, let me see if I can't do that because I don't have, this is a read only. So forgive me for not having this correctly lined up. So at the beginning of the document, I showed them where they can schedule appointments. So I showed them where my office hours are so they know when I'm available. And then to find the link that takes the students directly to you is that you want to into Connects Ed, you open up and launch Connects Ed. And then you look at your URL in Connects Ed, and you can find that by clicking on your picture or where your photo profile picture would be, right? And so mine is specifically there. And so therefore students aren't wandering around looking for me in the business lobby or any place else. They are going directly to me. And in the document, I use the link so they can access it and go back and forth between the link and the instruction. So I have the link at the beginning of the document that tells them how to go. But I also have it in the LMS so they don't have to go through the document once they know how to find me, so they can go directly to me and know what to do. But the first time around, they want step-by-step instructions. So I provide a visual of what they will see once they click on that link. And so you can do a screen snap either in the Microsoft environment or in the Apple environment and just grab a picture. You don't have to grab the whole screen, just grab that small little picture. So I use it to show students exactly what they'll see once they click on the link. And so then I show them what it'll say is that I will be online because I try to be, and this also increases a lot of trust with students, is if you say that you are having online hours, be there on your online hours. Sometimes you may be a minute or two late or whatever, but always be there when you schedule time for students to see you. So they'll see this and it'll say, click the link if they want to read my bio, send an offline message, or to schedule a meeting. So click on the link and you will see this. Then after that, I show them, click on the schedule the meeting link so they'll know exactly how to go to schedule an appointment or to just knock on the door. But again, I encourage students to schedule appointments so that no one is everybody has time set aside for them and they don't have to wait in the lobby, either online or in person in our business building. And so then I say, select the business studies instead of the personal appointment, because really where I'm directing them to is the business study portion of how Connects Ed is set up. And I click on schedule a meeting. So here you want to be in business studies and you want to schedule a meeting. Then there is a list of all of the professors as well as advisors, deans, assistant deans, etc., that are in business studies. So then I tell them, then look for my name. So click on that, select it, and then you want to select the date that you would like the meeting. And then after that, click on the reason for the visit. It doesn't necessarily mean any difference as far as what it means to meet with your professor or meet with your instructor. However, it gives me a little bit of guidance if it's just general course information, or if they just want to chat about how can I be more successful in my course. So it gives me a little bit more prep time if they select a certain type of meeting. And then I asked them to set the meeting location. So when you set up scheduling in ConnectEd, you can set up that you have an in-person meeting time so they can meet with you during office hours in person, and then you give them the exact location where your office is located, or you state that you want a video meeting, which is like our Zoom that we're accustomed to. Then you want to select the meeting date again, and then select the recommended time slots. So there are 30-minute meetings, and generally there's a 10-minute buffer between each meeting. So then they can schedule their exact time, and then it says schedule the appointment. So it gives you a little recap of what you're scheduling. Then it says schedule the appointment, and boom, they are done. They are scheduled with you. So that tells them how to schedule with me, but they need to know when they can schedule with me. So I have certain published office hours, and again, I have them during the day. I and try to be very faithful to be there because I want to establish trust with my students, especially those that are online, because there's no interface unless it's Canvas or their homework module or their assignment page, but there's nothing else besides our video links in ConnectEd. So I want to be there when I say I'm going to be there. So when can they meet with their instructor? I provide an easy to see schedule of office hours, and I have office hours at night because I have a lot of students who are working during the day. And so office hours during the day don't necessarily work for them. So I try to have office hours in the evening so that they can meet with me. So as well as your institution's policy on nights, weekends, and holidays to avoid student frustration. So if your institution does not require you to meet at night or over the weekend or on holidays, I let students know that in Canvas. It's an announcement at the top of my page, and also it's in the section where it's like how to meet with your professor. So students have an expectation. Additionally, I add in automatic replies to emails on a Friday afternoon. So I just did it a few minutes ago to let students know that when you will be available. So I will tell my students, Professor Lynch will return your email when she, after her Monday classes, which will be around 12:30 p.m. So they know they have an expectation that I'm not ignoring them on Monday morning because I'm teaching classes. So when I finish with my classes, come to my desk and I'll answer your emails. Now, if I can answer a quick question, say if I'm on my phone, answer a quick question over the weekend, I will. But if it takes a lengthy amount of time and I'm not at my desk, I let them have the expectation that they will be, I will answer their questions on Monday at that time. And so what we have by way of a policy at Delgado is we want to answer a student's email within 24 hours, if not before. So online students may not realize that you have in-person classes. They just assume that you're available at all times because that's when they access their online learning is whenever they're available, right? So I provide a weekly schedule so that students don't often access. Therefore, the auto replies help them to manage their expectations and let them know that I'm teaching classes and that I am in session and that I'm on my way to getting to them at my time when I say I'll be there. All right, so the ConnectEd lobby, the ease of use. And so if they've scheduled a meeting with you, the email system from ConnectEd will send you several easy to use reminder emails and also an easy to use link. I try to use the link because when I've tried to go in from launching ConnectEd and say like it's a half hour into my office hours and I try to go to ConnectEd, I don't always seem to find the student in the meeting. So I go back to the email where it has click on this link to meet with your student. And I found that that's the most efficient way to find your student and to begin the meeting. And so unlike Zoom, the meeting interface, the lobby is very clear and easy to use, and the instructions are very clear. So it's easy for a student to share their screen, show me what their problems are, where they're missing something, and where I can do better as a professor. I can enhance my instruction and say, the way I'm trying to communicate that to you, that made sense to me, but now that I'm seeing it from how you're reading it, I need to change that wording, or I need to enhance this. And so it can also work both ways. It can help to enhance what the students are seeing. And so it works both ways. And then also I have an ability to show my screen so that I can show them an answer, perhaps in homework, or the slide that they should be looking at, or to maybe explain a slide in a little bit different manner than I had previously, typed out the slide. So sometimes we need a little help in all sorts of different ways. So, and you can choose whether to record the meeting or not. So it doesn't have the same sort of Zoom designation that I know of. So let me qualify that I know of, that tells the student that you are being recorded. So typically it's just a one-on-one meeting. And so it's not meant to be shared with others. So typically I don't record the meeting. And I find ConnectEd to be an excellent system. I really like it. If you can get your students to you, give them easy to use instructions. I find that it's very easy to use, and my students seem to be, well, they have used it a lot because I've been very strict and using ConnectEd and helping them to navigate and get back and to switch over to that system and move out of Zoom, which we use for the classroom. But for meeting times and office hours and video conferencing, I'm trying to, as I have students that have taken me for more than one semester, they know to go to ConnectEd. So I don't see anybody here that's besides me. So I'm going to ask if there are any questions and see if we have any questions. So since I'm the only participant, I am, and our host, our excellent host from ConnectEd, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Let me stop the live stream, and then we'll see if I have any further directions from our Connect